Well, gang, another Royal Rumble is in the books, and man, is there a lot to react to. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to react to it. We're going to talk about what it means going forward. We're going to talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, what we were confused by, what we weren't confused by, and anything else that might pop into our heads as we are now most assuredly on the road to WrestleMania. This is Wrestling with Egos, your source for wrestling infotainment. Thank you for making us a part of your week. We are the Lean Mean Wrestle Talking Machine. I am joined by my cohorts in crime. I am Brian, the intellectual savior of the wrestling masses. From across the pond, say hello, KD.
What wabadoo?
That's going to be your thing now, isn't it? I love it.
It is.
And the big man is here as well. Isaac, what's good?
What's going on, y'all? Let's do this. Excited. Got a lot to talk about. Let's go.
Yeah.
We have a lot to talk about. Thank you to everyone who is consuming our content, however you're doing it, whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us on all of our many podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, iHeartRadio, Anchor. We appreciate you. We appreciate your support, your feedback. You can email the show, wrestlingwithegos@gmail.com. You can tweet at us, WrestlingXEgos on Twitter. You can also leave us comments under the video on YouTube. Thank you for viewing all this and listening to all the content in our lead up to the Rumble, because we spent a lot of weeks making some predictions, sure to go wrong, and a lot of them did.
Speak for yourself.
Well, you know, I mean, we can't hit a home run every time, KD.
I went all the way wrong.
Yeah. I fell apart with my predictions in the women's Rumble, but I did well on the men's.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us did. So
Yeah,
we're going to get right down to it. The backbone of this show this week is going to be a Wrestling with Egos favorite. We're going to play a good old-fashioned game of fill in the blank, where we will be presented with some statements that are missing a word or a phrase, and it is up to us intrepid souls to fill in that blank with a word or a phrase, and then put ourselves at the mercy of the group. And hey, I agree with you, or hey, that was a really ridiculous thing to say, and here's why. And I guess we'll cut right to the quick, as it were, with question number one, to fill in the blank. And Big Mang, I'm going to go to you first on this one.
Let's go.
The finish and aftermath of Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens was blank.
The finish was perfection. It was what we knew was going to happen. Everyone knew it was going to happen. Everyone could see the writing on the wall.
You knew that was all that was going to happen?
I knew that was going to happen.
The writing was written down on the wall.
I'd like to unpack that a little more, but keep going.
I mean, look, you can call me Punxsutawney Phil, because I can see into the future. I could see that coming. I know it's kind of weird to believe that, but I saw it. I saw it coming. But here's the deal.
I am magic.
I know. Magic! But I saw that coming a mile away. And it was perfection. And it was, you were invested in it because of the MVP, who was Sami Zayn, and who was giving you the reactions you wanted to see. Also, you were sitting here and you were just also riveted by Roman Reigns and the subtlety of the reactions that he gave you. And sometimes it's not about being very loud with the things that you do. It's just you reacting just a small little bit. And that means all the difference. And that is what you saw leading up to this. And you saw that Sami was on another level. Roman was on another level. You know, the way Jay was reacting to all of it. You know, you see how everyone was just interacting. The way that Paul was just steering in the right direction. It was perfection. You saw it coming. You knew that he was going to have to step in. You knew that he was going to get beat down. And you knew that he was going to turn on the bloodline. And it was perfection.
KD, fill in the blank.
You know, just on that as well, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue that it was perfection in most ways. I mean, it's one of them things as well, though, that I think because we was waiting for it, knew it was going to happen, we were all like fantasy booking it, so you couldn't help but be slightly disappointed. I had a little pang of disappointment when I watched it because I thought, oh, this could have been slightly better this way, but I think that was always going to happen no matter what. And much like the Royal Rumble, much like the royal family, filled with fights between families, Usos, Harry, it works. But the blank I put, the finish and aftermath of Roman versus Kevin Owens was as heart-wrenching as an obese man eating a triple bacon cheeseburger.
Oh my goodness.
Which is true.
It's you're painting a picture there.
I mean that basically reads to me perfection too. So I think we agree.
I do like a good cheeseburger. I wouldn't call myself obese, but I do like a good cheeseburger. And actually, through the magic of television, we will invite Patrick into the discussion and hear what he has to say. Patrick, take it away.
Oh, you are absolutely right, dear best friend. Of course, through the magic of television, also known as my expert editing skills, am I able to join you guys via satellite? Did you miss me, boys and girls? Because I have most certainly missed you. I will be back soon. My name is the Pastor of Pissed Off, the Reverend of the Rant, the Archbishop of Anger, the ego that ate Manhattan himself, Patrick. It's good to see you all. So let's get right down to it. The finish and aftermath of the main event of the Royal Rumble between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, in one word, Shakespearean. Never in my life as a wrestling fan, and boys and girls, we're talking 40 years, have I ever felt that anxious watching a storyline play out. Not Sting versus the NWO, not Ciampa and Gargano, not Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30, nothing. Nothing has made my pulse pound the way it was watching the Rumble, watching that aftermath with the beat down and Roman getting in the face of Sami Zayn, and then the build up. Is he going to hit him with the chair? Is he going to hit him with the chair? Boom! And the eruption of that crowd. It is the type of moment as a wrestling fan I think we all live for. It's one of those things that goes to our tagline of the show. This is why we love wrestling. Damn it, shit like that is definitely why I love wrestling. But to tell that story, and for people not outside of the world of wrestling to talk about how WWE deserves an Emmy for this storyline, that's a big deal. In one word, Shakespearean.
Boo, I disagree with that point wholeheartedly, Patrick.
That sucked.
It did, yeah.
I ain't feeling it.
Nah.
I'm not feeling it.
This is why we can't have nice things, Patrick. He's gonna cut all of this, I'm sure. You know. All these points are interesting. I'm gonna use my word to circle back to something Isaac just said, because there's a part of this that I did not see coming. I thought the finish and aftermath of Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens was surreal, because yes, this made sense for, you know, Sammy to turn, and I'll give him points for being the one to bring the fight to Roman to a degree, as opposed to waiting to get his clock cleaned
Yeah, that was
the other way.
surprising.
What I did not see coming, and I did not see Jey Uso walking out coming. I did not see that happening at all.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to turn into a 5-on-1 type deal. You know, 4-on-1 if you want to just take Paul Heyman out of it, because he's just the advocate. He's the wise man and that sort of thing.
When he gets down and dirty, though.
True. I mean, we've seen Paul mix it up before, but I think all of us have brought this up in different parlance on the show before. You keep peeling the layers of the onion back, and just when you think you've reached the center of the onion, there's more layers. And I think Isaac, if you tell me that you knew Jey Uso was going to do that, then okay, but I have a hard time buying that you knew that Jey was going to be the one to walk out, because who's been giving Sammy dap this whole time? Not Jey. It's been Jimmy.
Yeet.
You know. Solo, we knew was going to react the way he was going to react, but
Yeah, but not at all.
well, yeah, I mean, he's just a cyborg right now, and that's fine for him to play that role. But for me, it was just surreal. You know, the whole pacing of it, and then the way it unfolded, and then the fact that Jey did not actually participate in the beatdown, and then the tweet he sent at the end of the night.
Yeah.
You know, I'm out. You know, that kind of thing.
Did you see what Sami Zayn put out, like, with his stuff out for the? I'll go American here. He put his stuff out for the trash.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was on a suitcase or if it was like by the trash can or something like that.
I know they were all still wrapped in plastic and that, like they hadn't even been opened.
Yeah, so
it was by the trash can.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see. You know, when I go upstairs later on my YouTube feed, usually the SmackDown highlights are waiting for me. It's going to be interesting to see what the fallout was, because there was no mention made of it on Raw at all. They kind of let it simmer and let it marinate and that sort of thing.
I won't give it away.
Okay, please don't, because
I haven't watched SmackDown, so
no spoilers on that. Oh no, Isaac froze. Isaac, what are the odds of freezing at that exact moment?
I'm kidding. I'm good.
I had a follow-up, and we're going to save it for the Cody question, because it's all, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't want to unravel this blanket that we've been weaving. Anything else anybody wants to put in about Kevin versus Roman before we continue? Is there a part of it that we're overlooking? Is there a part of it that you would have done differently?
You know what? I really liked the I got it straight away, and I know some people missed it. The what would you call it? The, you know, visual comparison to when Seth turned on him. Yeah,
the way Roman fell into the ropes and all that.
Fell into the ropes with the chair shot the opposite way around as well. So it was like another layer to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that. That was great. That was the only part I was okay with about Sammy being the one to actively break it up, you know, as being the one swinging the chair.
I did not see that happening until I watched the way Roman positioned himself after Sammy took the chair from him.
And they still teased it like twice, didn't they, even before it happened? Like, yeah,
because he turned around and got back in his face, and they went nose to nose. And then he went back and started, you know, bad mouthing Kevin some more. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Sammy's going to call his shot right here. You know, and fair play to him, because, you know, there wasn't, this is a bad metaphor, but there was not a whole lot of toothpaste left in that tube. You know, he was running out of chances to bring the fight to Roman if that's what he wanted to do. You know. And now I think what we're headed for.
That's the question, yeah.
is Elimination Chamber, like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, was in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
We're probably headed for a Roman versus Sammy championship match there. And I've always said in the show that one of the biggest pops I've ever heard in my life is when the Hart Foundation came out at In Your House Canadian Stampede. You're going to be hearing a similar pop. Shawn Michaels winning Elimination Chamber at Madison Square Garden. Triple H coming back from his quad injury.
The pops for Sammy and Kevin have been crazy in the past anyway, let alone where Sammy's at now. It's going to be unreal.
Yeah. My God, and even I just thought of what Kevin Owens would, the pop he would get, because I'm sure he'll be involved in something.
Yeah.
Maybe a chamber match or something like that for something. But
are they already announced the chambers? They're the US title and the women's, aren't they? I think.
Yeah, but then they'll find a way to. The KO will come up with another thing to do, like maybe he'll wrestle Solo Sikoa or something like that, because what he does when he's in Canada is he usually comes out and starts speaking French, en français, to everybody, and that's how he gets over like Rover there.
Ah, oui, yes.
Yeah.
Ah, oui. They come out, they talk about the French people and how they love their mud. They like much of mud.
Oh my goodness!
Shout out
to all our friends in France, because that's Katie trying to ingratiate himself to all of you. Maybe, I don't know.
Shout out to you all, but stop eating frog's legs and snails. It's weird.
Okay, we're gonna pull it back. Moving on to the confusing part of the evening for me, anyway. Call your shot. Uncle Howdy will eventually be revealed as blank. Katie, I'll throw it to you on this one, because this was the part of the show where I was like,
I kind of bathroom break of the Royal Rumble. Let's just call it what it is.
Oh no, you know what? For me, that was totally Bianca wins. Lol. That's what the toilet break was for me. The pitch black match, though, I didn't hate it. I kind of enjoyed it. It was a bit better than it. There was something to it, and I think if it wasn't for Bray's like glowy makeup that he had during the match, then I wouldn't have liked it as much. I think that kind of made it feel like there was a reason for what was happening, with the lighting and that. Wasn't a huge fan of the glow-in-the-dark beads that came flying out the table. That was random. And LA Knight's glow-in-the-dark panties. That was a bit weird. And the mask that Bray put on at the end, I didn't even get a good view of that, to be fair. But Uncle Howdy is magic. He can hit someone with an elbow drop, like, just by being near to them. Like, his pure kinetic force. It's like Black Panther. The kinetic force of being near it, it just... He's a powerful man.
Always look on the brighter side of life.
Mm-hmm. It was very bright when that pyro went off. Made to see how far away he was even more. But my blank, sorry, yeah, I forgot to do that. My shot is Uncle Howdy will eventually be revealed as Bray's secret lover, a.k.a. Sister Abigail, a.k.a. Mr. Abigail.
That was a lot of theater to get to that, and I love it. Patrick, please save us. You think Uncle Howdy will be revealed as whom?
Yes. It is I, your beloved Ego That Ate Manhattan, your Reverend of the Rant, coming to you live, not so much, from an undisclosed location, also known as my Fortress of Solitude, not to be confused with a van down by the river. So call your shot. Uncle Howdy will eventually be revealed as blank. See, I am of the belief that all of this is going to be different manifestations of Bray Wyatt himself. I do not believe that when it's all said and done, that Uncle Howdy and Ramblin' Rabbit and Sister Abigail and Huskus the Pig Boy and whatever the hell Bray was wearing, with that mask after the Lights Out match, which, by the way, KD, Brian, Isaac, you guys are wrong. That was cool as shit. Even my daughter was watching that thinking, wow, that's really cool. Even though the masks some of those guys wear are creepy, it was everything that we needed it to be, because it was able to show a completely different side of Bray Wyatt. You look past all the little neon colors and everything else and the black light and all that stuff. If you look past it, you see it for what it was. Nuanced, subtle, and so many things happening in the background. And Uncle Howdy is going to be revealed as yet another side of the madness that is Bray Wyatt. Much like everyone else, he will shift in and out of these particular characters, much like James McAvoy's character did in both Split and Glass. It's going to be interesting. This is also the first time that we've seen Bray Wyatt in a situation where it's not really clear exactly what he's doing. Even with the Firefly Funhouse and The Fiend, we knew what this was. Well, I knew what this was. Brian didn't. Brian didn't like it. I'd just like to point that out, by the way. He did not like the idea that it was a 1980s slasher monster come to life. No. But I was right. But if we need to have a funny answer, Uncle Howdy will be eventually revealed as Scott Armstrong.
Another stellar point there by Patrick.
Another stellar point. I think, at this point, I think it's going to be revealed as Bray Wyatt himself. I think what they're doing is they've got some kind of a performance center guy coming out in costume to just fill in, and look menacing and talk like this, and you think you're in control, and you're really not, and that. Because I've started to parse his promos a little bit the way I used to when it was Firefly Funhouse, and I feel like when he says he is me and I am him and all that, it's going to be revealed that it's a part of his personality.
Yeah,
like a split personality kind of thing.
It's definitely him in the promos. I need at least the early ones.
Yeah, because I'm ready to say that this angle has not caught fire the way everybody hoped it would. And I don't know what to pin that on, if it's the pacing, if it's he's not in the ring often enough, or do you want him in the ring all the time, or do you want to make him a special attraction or whatever. I just feel like if it's revealed to be Bo Dallas or something like that at this point, it's going to kind of be a letdown. Because if you were going to do that, if it was going to be Bo Dallas, I feel like that would have been the Wyatt Six thing. Like he was assembling a group, to like,
that's
the anti-bloodline, so to speak. And he could still do that, but I don't know. This match left me wanting more.
Yeah, in all seriousness, before we go to Isaac's, in regards to who it'll be revealed to, I generally don't think it'll be revealed as anyone. I think it will just stay as Uncle Howdy. That's who it is. It's like that. Yes, it might be Bo Dallas under the mask.
There's no rule that says you have to reveal him as somebody. He could just still be this specter, this phantasm or whatever you want to call him, just giving people nightmares and costing people matches and stuff.
And I love Bray having this extra bit of where he can just be a bit more of a person and do the stuff we probably wanted to do before, like the interviews, out of character, being able to everything that he does now that he wasn't able to do before.
Yeah,
he was at the press conference, for example.
I still haven't watched that. I need to go back and find that.
Yeah.
Before Isaac, hold on a second. Was anybody eating muffins and drinking lime eucalyptus soda at this press
No.
conference? No? Okay, good. Then I think we're good.
Bray Wyatt
Isaac's still in the blank, bud.
Okay. Here's where I actually think it's going to be Bo Dallas.
Okay.
I got a feeling that it's going to be as they say, it's going to be a family affair. And I believe that's where they're going with it. They have been bringing back some people, which I didn't think they'd bring back. I'll go into that a little bit later. But honestly, I did not think. I just kept thinking I want to believe, but that's just the way I'm feeling about it. I think they're gonna bring back some people that that you didn't really think or you didn't think about, or people that they let go. And Bo Dallas had so much potential. We all know that. And with the fact that they brought back Bray, who was on top of his game at the time, and anyone else that they may have let go during the pandemic around that time, I think that they're going to bring him back. And Bo Dallas is one of those people.
I mean, you could make the argument that that's one of the few things that could prop this angle up, or this storyline up at this point, because I guess I can see why they want to keep Bray out of the ring a lot. But at the same time, we're going back to like Cult Leader era promos of his, where it's just, I'm sorry to say this, but right now it's just a guy in a rocking chair talking in circles.
I don't get that as much. I feel like he's saying a bit more now with the new character.
He is, but I think that the payoff
far too slow. There's what you said earlier, the pacing. You hit it
I mean, if the matches need spooky bollocks, to use that term again, if they need glow in the dark beads and don't get me wrong, the glow in the dark stuff look cool, but that's like, trying to dress up, you burn the turkey at Thanksgiving, so you dress it up with like the potatoes and the apples and stuff like that. Hey, look at this turkey, it's still burnt. But I don't I don't know that there's any saving this at this point, unfortunately. And part of me thinks like these reveals of these other people in the Wyatt Army or the Wyatt Six or whatever you want to call them might be the only card they have left to play to resuscitate it.
The problem that I have is that I keep thinking that they should have had Bray go up against someone that was more established on the main roster than bringing up LA Knight, because you're trying to establish LA Knight as a primetime player and also bring back one of the most beloved characters in WWE, and then have him go up against someone and bring him up to his level. That's where I have a problem with. And to use your example of Triple H, when he came back from knee surgery, he came back at Madison Square Garden. Who did he go up against?
Kurt Angle was the one that stepped to him.
And Kurt Angle was the first guy. And Kurt Angle was willing to put him over. But when you're sitting here and you're trying to sit here and you're trying to establish yourself on the main roster, and then you're just being pulled up and you finally get your character back. LA Knight, not that male model dude, which we all know is just perfection. Chef's kiss.
I've started watching Maximum Male Models on YouTube. That's funny.
Okay. But you guys know what I mean. The bottom line with stuff like that is just you sit here and you're trying to bring somebody else up. and make
Let
them.
me ask you a follow-up question about LA Knight really quick, and I'll just get both of your reactions to this. KD, do you think LA Knight is over right now?
Yeah, I think he's come out of this better than Bray.
Isaac, what about you?
Well, actually, you know what? Actually, before the Royal Rumble, yes, I might have to rethink that now. He could be still though.
I think he is on his way to getting there. In the aspect of, you can tell when they start to repeat your signature phrase. When he comes to the ring, he go LA Knight, yeah. Or you're sitting here and they do an interview, and the first thing you hear is, "Let me talk to you." You know what I mean?
He's
That's
great,
just
man.
it comes back. So he's getting there, but he's not there. You need an established person to say, "Okay, I'm going to put this guy over."
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and right now, you shouldn't have done that to a guy that just got brought up from NXT.
See, I go back and forth on him because I hear what you're saying about the catchphrases and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So he should be over, but I feel like he's stuck in that middle ground where, if it, like, I feel like a part of me feels like if that's all it took to get over, then somebody like Christian should have been over a lot more than he was, because he
you
was
can't
doing it
compare
for the
the two.
peeps and all that kind of stuff.
I don't think you can compare the two at all. Like LA
No,
Knight's got
I
bags
get
of
it. Christian
charisma.
had a lot more like equity built up with the tag teams and everything like that. That
I
Christian,
mean, like LA Knight's got more charisma and Christian less so, more than anything.
Christian's a bad example. I'm trying to think of somebody else that. Oh, and I don't have any names right now.
I think LA Knight's like proper, like done as well as he could have done with the situation. Probably better than he should have done. Hopefully that's kind of made Triple H think now, I could do more with him. I'd be interested to see what he does next.
I know who he reminds me of. Billy Gunn is a singles wrestler after Road Dogg left the company, because he had catchphrases, and some of them, like, he was, trotting out the DX stuff still a little bit, but then he had his own stuff too. But then, like, it didn't connect in the ring for some reason, and it didn't connect all the way with the fans. I think that's where LA Knight is at. Yeah, we're chanting your stuff. However, just something to chew on. I guess I didn't like him when he was in NXT, personally. I mean, a character like that just didn't do anything for me. And I might catch crap for saying something like that, but
I didn't even watch him in NXT.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I disagree with you about that. And that being that Christian doesn't have the same mic skill that LA has. Christian's eye. But, and Billy didn't have the same mic skills. But the problem of it was, you put Billy up against The Rock. That's apples and oranges right there.
Yeah.
You don't put,
And Billy didn't necessarily have to talk, because he was in DX and he was with Road Dogg most of the time, and he was out there with Triple H and China and everybody else who did all the talking for them.
Just had to shake his bum. That's all he had to do.
Right.
The problem with something like that is that he, Billy was thrown in against the top guy in the industry at the time, and there's no way on God's green earth that there's not that many people that can sit there and talk the way and go one-on-one against him, other than, like a Chris Jericho could have done it. Chris Jericho could do that. And the first thing he did when he got into WWE is they threw him at The Rock, and you saw he could hold his own. Not everyone can do that.
Right.
And you're coming up from NXT, not the same.
Well, here's hoping that it goes somewhere, because Bray deserves this to go somewhere. And I feel
Mm.
like we might be running out of time,
I think-
especially with all the other stuff that's going on. I mean, the card for Mania is filling up.
Mm.
And, you know, you need something like this deserves to be in a semi-high profile spot on one of the nights. You know, but you've got to make it worthy of a spot like that. If it's going to be a semi-main in support of Roman versus Cody, or, you know, the Usos versus Sammy and Kevin, or whoever, whatever you're going to do, it can't be Bray Wyatt versus Mansoor. You know, it can't be Bray Wyatt versus Johnny Gargano or something like that. Unless there's a story to tell there. If there was, I think I'd be here for it. You know, so
Johnny Tiny Man.
Well, don't sell Johnny Gargano short. Johnny Gargano.
I don't need to.
Wrestling with Eagles
God did
family.
it. God sold
knew
me
I
short.
Moving on. Oh, geez, my phone just went to sleep. Moving on to question number 3. We will actually
quickly
start
about
with
Bray,
Patrick
though.
on this one.
Just
What did
quickly
you
about just quickly about Bray, sorry, before we move on. Just wanted to say, like, I reckon he's definitely got a plan. Like, there'll be something going forward. I don't think it will be a Mania, though. I think it's gonna go on for a while still yet. The end of the story.
Here's
you know.
hoping. Here's hoping. Question number 3 for the evening. The revelation of the New Day that they would love to wrestle the Young Bucks at some point is blank. Patrick, let's throw it over to you for your reaction and fill in the blank.
What's the old Patrick say?
Whoo, boy, I have been waiting to get to this one all show long. It's about damn time, guys. The revelation that the New Day wants to wrestle the Young Bucks is, and I'm about to piss a lot of y'all off on this one, already done. And here's when. Years ago at some comic game conference, I can't remember exactly when, but the New Day went 3-on-3 in Street Fighter with all 3 members of the Elite, Kenny and the Bucks. Losing team had to eat hot peppers. The New Day lost. Woods ate all the peppers for Big E and Kofi, and then Kenny was like, no, you're not going to come off looking like a hero. I'm going to eat the peppers too. So you had both Woods and Kenny Omega suffering in front of hundreds of people in a convention hall. This has been done. No, not in a wrestling ring, but it's been done. Now, you get them both in a wrestling ring, and I'm here for it. I'm not the biggest fan of the Bucks, as we have determined, and we have discussed ad nauseum in the 4+ years of this show. But to see the New Day and the Bucks would be highly entertaining. But if we're going to ignore the fact that they've been on opposite sides of a battle before, then we're shortchanging ourselves, because they fought controllers in hand to the death in Street Fighter V. So much like the Bare Naked Ladies once sang, it's all been done.
Scintillating take from Patrick, as always.
That was amazing. I disagree, but I sort of agree.
I didn't think you could say that anymore. I was especially surprised by the casual nudity.
You get tossed out of most eating establishments for saying something like that.
I'd be careful what you
KD
said there and how you worded that.
Would have got thrown over the top rope in the Royal Rumble for saying that stuff.
Exactly. KD, fill in the blank. The revelation of the New Day that they would love to wrestle the Young Bucks is blank.
Is more likely to happen on AEW Fight Forever if it ever actually comes out. Because ain't no way New Day's leaving WWE. Young Bucks aren't going to leave AEW. And they might do eventually. They might do a Cody. I reckon if anyone else is going to do it like big from AEW, it'd be them. But I don't really think that's likely to happen. And yeah, God knows if
Wait,
AEW
you
Fight
think
Forever
they
will ever
leave
promote.
before MJF would leave?
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't see MJF leaving. Like,
It's funny you mention AEW Fight Forever because I'm going to fill in the blank by saying that it's video game worthy
hey,
because that's really the only way I think it could happen is if somehow they were featured in a video game platform together, or they did another thing like they did several years ago where they were at some festival and they played Street Fighter.
yeah, the
Three
Elite versus
New Day
New Day.
versus the Elite, Young Bucks versus Elite at that Comic Con or whatever it was.
Is it G3? Or might not have been that.
Might have been. You might be right.
Yeah.
On the one hand, I commend New Day for wanting to wrestle the best, and in the era of a Forbidden Door type situation, it's natural to kind of look over the fence at what's going on over there, and say, yeah, we'd love to wrestle you. It's what FTR spent all of 2022 doing, basically. Wrestling the Briscoes and going over to Japan and going to Mexico and going here and going there. And
there's always a chance of that now, to be fair, like a lot more so. Even WWE, I feel like a lot more Forbidden Door type stuff is possible now because we've already seen some of it.
Right.
With like New Japan, is it?
Well, yeah. Well, Pro Wrestling Noah had Nakamura come over on New Year's and wrestle Great Muta.
Yeah.
Who we did not see sadly at the Rumble, but that's okay. Isaac, fill in that blank about the New Day.
Your boy's done.
New Day.
Hey? I would say that would be a dream match or a super kick party. All day long.
I'd love to see the Usos, yeah.
As much as anybody wants to see that match, the possibility of it happening are slim and none right now. As much as I would love to see that, as much as we would hope that, Katie, you just said that there's no way that the Bucks are going to leave AEW. I bet you, 2 years ago we would have stood here and said there's no way Dusty, that Cody was going to leave AEW either. So I'm not going to sit here and just totally rule that out because that's not something that, that's plausible. It could happen. MJF, while he's been sitting here talking about he's going to leave for WWE the moment that his contract is up or the bidding war, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know what? Look, if you're that good, then great. Go over to the WWE and realize that you're not tall enough and they don't think that you have the perfect build that that they want for their champion, and then they're going to bury you in the mid card just like they're supposed to. You may be a great and fantastic talker, but it ain't going to work. So that's just the way I feel about that.
Yikes.
I would really love to see it happen, but again, it would have to be something like a Forbidden Door, where it's a one-time shot or one time that they do it once a year, and bring in new people and bring those dream matches that we have seen in other countries over here. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
I mean, I give, let's put it this way. I give it, on a percentage scale, I give it a 1% chance of happening.
Yeah.
So many things have to align. I mean, hey, for all we know, Tony Khan could buy WWE.
I could see
and then we could do it,
I don't think Tony's got that much money.
His family does.
Yeah, but whether he'll give it to him.
Jacksonville doesn't need a football team. Just kidding.
Don't say that. Don't go there right now.
I'm kidding. I really am kidding, because then I won't have Trevor Lawrence as my fantasy quarterback next year, and
Yeah,
because he's on the roster right now, and he'll be one of my keepers next year, I think.
All I'm saying, and while I'm thinking about tomorrow's Senior Bowl, KJ Henry, shout out to him. He's gonna be at the
Yeah.
game. Check him out. That's all I'm saying. KJ, we got you.
Let's be honest. NFL, that's right, isn't it? NFL.
Yes.
Let's
NFL
call.
any day now is going to be replaced by the new true sport of kings, the slap fighting.
Boy,
Okay.
feeling good.
Okay, we can edit that out and post.
We're editing that part out of the conversation.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, I think.
I agree with you, and that's why we don't talk about slap fighting around here in Wrestling with Egos. Question number cuatro for our Spanish-speaking friends down there. It was blank for Cody Rhodes to win the Men's Royal Rumble from entry number 30. I would love to start this one off, boys. Thank you for allowing me to do that.
Yeah, Brian, we get your views on this?
Yes.
I got the index card all ready to go from that fresh pack.
Please, go ahead.
It's just good business. I told you all last week. Cody's got nothing left to prove to anybody at this point. If you're one of these people that wants Cody to come out at number 1 or number 2 and go for an hour and 20 minutes or whatever it was, number 1, it's not good business sense because he risks injury by going that long. Number 2, he built up all that equity with us last year in the trilogy of matches he had with Seth Rollins. And then, he had the pectoral injury and recovery and all that. And if that had happened, we wouldn't have gotten the performance we got from Gunther, who now is, we all knew he was going to be on to bigger and better things, but now he is most definitely on to bigger and better things as your Iron Man. I believe he broke Rey Mysterio's.
Yeah, he did.
62 minutes and 12 seconds by a healthy margin, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think good like 10 minutes or so.
Yes, because, yes, Bryan Danielson wrestled in the greatest Royal Rumble and went much longer than that, but I guess that's not official Rumble canon. I heard during the week, which I'm totally fine with, by the way.
Yeah, they refer to it as like the traditional Royal Rumble matches.
Yes. That's why I say good business, because you don't want to risk injury or a setback or anything like that. He's earned the right to come out at number 30. And I think whatever gripe you may have had with it being predictable, now we know Cody's going to win now, he basically had a match within a match with Gunther. Because when it came down to the two of them, they went for like 10, 15 minutes on their own and told a story within a story, I think.
And the fact it was on first as well, I think negated a lot of that. Oh, well, we know what's going to happen at the end, because the men's was the only one you could really call. We all kind of knew Cody was probably going to win.
Yeah.
So I think it was very smart putting it on first. And having... Actually, I was about to answer. Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, Patrick, how do you feel about it?
Here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. And by that, I simply mean I'm going to be the asshole on this one. It was blank for Cody Rhodes to win the Royal Rumble at number 30. Predictable. Thanks for taking all of the suspense out of it, guys. Thanks for taking all of the surprise out of it. Thanks for taking out all of what makes the Royal Rumble out of it, guys. Anybody with a quarter of a brain could figure out that Cody was going to win the damn thing. Sami Zayn wasn't in it. The main event hadn't happened yet. Cody was going to win it. So when he hadn't shown up at 25, I knew he was going to be number 30. My daughter was watching this. This was the very first pay-per-view my daughter watched. And when I was explaining to her beforehand who this Cody Rhodes guy was and he was making a comeback, she figured it out when he hadn't come out at number 26. Daddy, there's not that many left. Is he going to be the last one? Yeah, kiddo, probably. An 8-year-old figured it out. An 8-year-old girl that hasn't watched wrestling all that much. She knows who The Undertaker is because that's Daddy's favorite. That's about all she knows. Oh, and she was really happy that Rhea Ripley won because, one, Rhea looked cool, and she went in first, so she deserved to win it. So, Kiddo was Kiddo was happy about that one, too. That wasn't predictable. Wow, Rhea went wire to wire. That was pretty awesome. Cody at 30. Wow. I mean, the only way you could have made it less predictable is to have a backstage vignette like they used to do way back in the day with Gene Okerlund interviewing people trying to figure out what everybody had. And Gene Okerlund interviews Mr. Perfect. Hey, what number did you pull? I pulled the perfect number. Predictable. This is why I hate wrestling, not love it.
You feel that way?
Hmm.
Do you?
Ah.
Do you really?
Can
Are
you
you sure?
feel it?
What I do?
You want to take a moment and rethink what you think, or
You want to go take two on this one? Okay.
Isaac,
Gotcha.
fill in that blank, my man.
I said it was a little too obvious. We all can see that one coming down the pipeline. I would have put him in, but I made the suggestion you go in at 22.
Okay.
You know, we'll help people out, show everyone that that he's fully ready to go, and or have someone else, stick around and throw most of the people out. But him just throwing a couple people out, showing he can do some stuff, and that he's really fully recovered would have been fantastic. But you know what? I can't sit here and I can't knock it. We saw it coming. That's all I gotta say.
KD, fill in that blank.
To be fair, mine's much the same as well. I just put it was smart and protective of his broken booby for Cody Rhodes to win the Rumble from entry 30. But you know what I will also say as well, though? It was also secondary to Logan Paul's performance. Can we just get a round of applause for that man? I mean,
Logan Paul.
also the fact that he did it while, being deep in a cryptocurrency scam. Why he did it, God knows.
Logan Paul is, I think he's rewriting the playbook for if you want to be an outsider and come in and do this WWE stuff. He's taking the Bad Bunny playbook and, ripping that to shreds. And to be willing to put yourself in that spot with somebody like Ricochet, who, can go for days and days and days, by the way. My goodness. And
that spot was awesome.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, when he first came along, I'm like, okay, but he's another one who's doing what Bad Bunny did. He's taking it seriously. He's putting in the work. And you also have him taking the promotion of it seriously, because when he's on his podcast, he's talking about it quite a bit, and he's getting celebrities from WWE on quite a bit on his show. He's had Triple H on. He's had people like that on.
Just had Cody on the other day.
So pardon me?
Just had Cody on the other day.
Right. So he understands the give and take. It's not all about what can I take from you. It's what can I give back as well. And I think that's where a lot of these celebrities maybe have fallen short in the past, and why us dyed-in-the-wool wrestling fans don't like it when you whippersnapper outsiders come in and,
To be fair,
Um,
Logan Paul protects kayfabe more than Chris Jericho does nowadays.
you're not wrong. It's
I mean, I
You're
can
not.
understand why Logan Paul wants to live in a fantasy world. I get it. So
couldn't we all do that? We're gonna move on to the question that I dare say Patrick is going to have the most fun with. This one's kind of a Patrick special because of the way I worded it, and it's a great place to kind of tie up all the ends of our discussion about the Rumble festivities. Brian, you boy, got his wish of 2 Royal Rumble matches largely devoid of returning legends. It's a great day in America, ladies and gentlemen. He should feel blank about that. Who would like to wade into the waters and, let me have my moment in the sun?
Me, damn it. See, I'm not even going to let you cut to me at this point. I'm not letting KD go first. I'm not letting Isaac go first. I'm editing this show as we're going along. I don't even know what they've said. I don't even know what shenanigans is going to follow what I'm about to say. But, dear best friend, I have been waiting to rip you 7 new assholes on this one all night. How should Brian feel because the men's and women's rumbles were devoid of surprise entrants and legends and yada yada yada? Ashamed of himself. Embarrassed. Borderline turn in your wrestling fan card. And here's why. Brian, just metaphorically speaking, became the Grinch. He stole Christmas from us. Because, boys and girls, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the whole point of the Royal Rumble the surprise? Oh my God, I can't believe they brought this person back. Oh my God, it was so cool seeing them. Blah, 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 blah. No. Brian didn't want that. Brian wanted to give everybody an equal shot. Yeah. So let's go ahead and trot out a bunch of jobbers that we have no reason needing to see. There's no reason that we need to have fucking Otis in the damn Rumble. He's just another fat guy. He adds nothing to it. We couldn't bring in a legend to replace some of these guys. No. We have to give Otis a run at it. We didn't even get Mustafa Ali in the damn thing. But guess what, damn it? We got Otis. The simple fact that there were no legends shouldn't be a crowning achievement for Brian Aloysius Kriego. No, it should be an indictment. For the simple fact that the surprise is what has made the Royal Rumble for the past God knows how long. And I'm sorry, this is kind of pissing me off because literally, we're previewing the freaking Rumble. We refer to it as Wrestling Christmas #1. And we got no Christmas presents. Brian sitting on the top of Grinch Mountain, listening to all the Who's going boo-hoo, not even having enough crumbs for their mouses. But Brian gets what he wants. Well, Brian, I'm glad you got what you want. And guess what? I'm glad that because you got what you wanted, the rest of us got 2 Royal Rumbles that were boring as shit. We had Cody coming in at number 30 and winning it, like I said earlier, predictable. And Rhea going wire to wire. At least that was cool. At least we got a couple of surprises from there. Michelle McCool sitting in the crowd, but no surprises from the men's rumble. I'm sorry, but I don't know how you can be excited about this, how you can think that you got your wish. You might have got your wish, the rest of us got fucked. I'm sorry, but that is the real truth of the whole thing. With all due respect, dear best friend, you are the minority in this, not the rest of us. You should be disappointed because the rest of us got coal for Christmas. Not Michael Cole, like charcoal. We got coal for Christmas. You got to be Eric Cartman, getting everything that you wanted, and everybody else is miserable. So does that make Isaac or KD Kenny? That's my real question. I guess that would make me Butters.
I think we'd all like to know, first of all, how you think you should feel about that.
How I tell you how I should feel about that. I got it right here on this index card. I
Yeah.
should feel justified.
Ah,
You know what? What did I say? For 3 weeks, gang, I said, man, look at all this talent we have. Look at this roster. Look at all these people. And there they were.
I'm sorry, before you go on, I've got to school the teacher right now. I think you'll find that's closer to vindication.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
I only said justified. Vindication would be both Royal Rumble matches were bangers because of what they did.
Okay, I suppose. Okay.
And the men's Rumble came closer to being a banger than the women's did. I think we can both agree, or we can all agree about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can generally say that.
I read and I heard in a lot of the reactions that the women's Royal Rumble was devoid of storytelling. It was just women coming out.
Yeah.
And a spot here and some chain wrestling there and an elimination here. There was really no through line other than what Damage Control was trying to do. Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and Bailey.
We didn't even see James Ellsworth.
Thank
Is
God
it
for
even
that.
the women's match without James Ellsworth?
I did
And
like
I'm going to also take a moment to apologize to everybody because the night of the Rumble, I got on our Wrestling with Egos show chat on Messenger. And I said, hey, gang, no spoilers because I'll be starting late.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
butthead.
queued it up and I said, oh, my God, it's Piper Niven. And KD was the one that said, hey, you jerk, you said no spoilers. So
Yeah, man, I hadn't even got there.
I'm very happy to see the return of Piper Niven. I'm very happy that she is in better health. I would love to see what she can do with she's, gang, if you don't know about Piper Niven, you need to make that your homework and pull up some, was she in Progress?
I think I saw her in TNA first. Oh, I think I originally saw her, in that World of Sport.
I thought that was NXT UK.
Well, she was in NXT UK.
Yeah, she
Watch
was
her
in
there,
that.
but there's also some stuff on the network on Peacock. I can't remember if it's ICW or it's Progress, but it's one of those two because she's a Brit. She's from the UK. Watch her stuff over there because she is a badass in the ring.
Yeah.
When there's not a silly character involved or when she's not somebody's lackey and all that kind of stuff.
She's Nia Jax with a bit more spring in her step. A lot more spring in her step.
There you go.
She got to sink you up her butt, basically.
And KD, thank you for bringing up Vindication versus Justification. I would say Vindicated if we got brilliant storytelling throughout both Rumbles.
Okay.
We did with the men, with Gunther, and then with the unfortunate, the time for Kofi saves has come and gone, I think.
Yeah,
that
was one thing I brought up. I was like, one thing I didn't want to see. The only thing I said I didn't want to see in the Rumble at the end of last week's, I think it was, The only thing I didn't want to see was the Kofi not getting eliminated spot.
You
And
and
I
you
got
were
it.
right to say that, so I will give you your flowers for that.
And I got Liv Morgan being like second in the women's rumble. Or did I say
Yeah,
third?
you
I
did.
think
Yeah, and the final two were not, because who did Rhea eliminate finally? Was it Liv?
it was Liv and Rhea. Yeah, at the end.
While
Okay.
she was holding up to the top rope.
But you know, with the women, except for Spooky Asuka
Oh yeah.
and Damage Control, there and Liv Morgan being your Iron Woman, there really were not a lot of stories being told, because you did not get hardly any of my NXT people were there. You know, you had no JC Jane and Gigi Dolan. You did not have who else wasn't there? You did not have Mako Satomura. You did not have Alba Fire. Tegan
And
Knox
Zoe-
was there. She did a good showing. Zoe Stark was in.
Yeah, she was awesome. I hadn't seen much of her.
Roxanne Perez, shout out to
yeah.
her. She did her thing.
Yes,
So
I didn't.
we got to give her some props. She
Yeah,
looked good.
I mean, let's not forget as well, Michelle McCool just there chilling with her kids. Makes completely logical sense that she didn't realize she was in the Rumble. She went out there and, to be fair though, not many people could get up from sitting there ringside like that. Do a John
I'm going to
Cena
bring
and do
something
so
up
well.
about that. I'm going to have the rest of you fill in the blank, but then I want to circle back to Michelle McCool for a minute. Isaac, fill in the blank. How should I feel about getting my wish?
You should feel like you won the Rumble. Is the way you feel. You know, because there's a lot of
Going
things.
to WrestleMania.
I'm going to WrestleMania. You make sure you point.
Oh, I got a point.
Yeah.
Got a point.
But see the little hello, like Rhea. Hello.
You should feel. Me personally, I wish it would have been different. I wish you could have had a little more people show up. I understand the reason why, but still, it's still not, my point of view. But again, in this case, my opinion don't really mean much.
You know who's chomping at the bit?
JBL. I thought JBL was going to be in it because it was.
Yeah.
I really thought that Beth Phoenix was gonna be the one to throw Rhea out after she already came out earlier and hit her with the spear, and I thought she was gonna be in the Rumble. I was wrong about that as well. So I'm batting 1,000. I'm getting things wrong. I'm getting things right. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like they might do that at Elimination Chamber. They might settle that Judgment Day versus Edge and Beth there.
I got a feeling it'll go there too, but there's going to be something that's going to lead up to WrestleMania with Edge and somebody. And I don't know if Beth is going to be involved in it because Rhea's got her title shot thing,
I've heard rumors about Brood Edge versus Demon Finn. I would love that for so many reasons, which I don't have time to list right now. But we'll talk about that if it becomes a reality. But
I don't know how you do.
I've just been handed a news item. There's somebody chomping at the bit to tell me how I should feel about the fact that I got my wish. And we're going to cut to Patrick right now because he really wants to tell me how I should feel. And I have a feeling he's not going to hold back. Over to you, Patrick.
Over to Patrick in the chopper.
High above the skies of Chicago. KD, how should I feel about the fact that I got my wish?
I'm sure you're expecting me to make a joke here, but I wouldn't do that. This is serious. I'm gonna say exactly how you should feel because you should feel good about it. You should feel sexually gratified, is what I think. And I think you do, to be honest.
I mean,
I could see you messing with that belt before you came out. Looking a bit too hard at that poster of The Rock.
Okay. Well, this is what happens
kn-
when you try to be inclusive and welcoming, and they just they take your they take your dreams and they grind them into a fine powder and use it to coat their chicken breast with.
You're
Mhm.
welcome.
Yeah. Circling back to Michelle McCool for a minute.
Mm.
Do any of you have a problem with the fact that Michelle McCool actual ring time in the Royal Rumble was something north of 13 minutes? And she had
No.
some eliminations on top of that, I think. Chelsea Green is done in like 2 seconds, setting
That's
the
funny.
record for the quickest Rumble elimination for a woman.
Well, she's in the record books.
That's like being in the record books with Santino Marella when he get into the Rumble, and then 1 second later was literally thrown over the top rope by Kane. That's not the record you want. We all know that.
Payday's a
The
payday.
fact that Chelsea was coming back, she should have gotten a little bit more shine and getting a little bit more. Somebody should have let her stay in the Rumble just a little bit more, just to establish her character and just establish that she's coming back. She got a little fire on her, but they didn't allow that to happen. Michelle McCool, you could argue for the fact that it's Undertaker's wife. She can pretty much do whatever the damn hell she wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And two,
I don't have a problem with Michelle being in there for that long, but
throwing people out.
no, I don't have a problem with that either because
Yeah.
it's not like she's throwing out Bailey and
a lot of them were fodder to be thrown out, really.
Becky Lynch and people like that.
I'm just saying that in that case, she is a former women's champion. We have to sit here and solidify her on that because she is
women's or just divas?
She was a Divas champion.
Doesn't matter. She was a champion.
Yes.
Doesn't matter when it was. Period. And the story. She give her some. Put, as Baby would say, put some damn respect on her name.
Yeah.
When it comes
on that stink.
The only way
women's champion. Period.
Right.
Boom.
The only way I'm okay with the Chelsea Green spot is if she's coming back and she's fine with the comedic spot, because you really don't have a woman anywhere other than maybe Wendy Chu in NXT who occupies a comedic, the way you've got Danhausen and Orange Cassidy in NXT or in AEW and that sort of thing. But so if she's fine with that, I guess I'm okay with that. But that also discounts all the work she's been putting in, because she's worked very hard over the past decade to make a name for herself, because she was in TNA.
Yes.
I've just heard her name a few times. I haven't really seen much of her.
She's married to Matt Cardona, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's riding.
And I know the two of them have done great intergender stuff, and they've done, she figured a little bit when Matt Cardona went to GCW and took the title off of Nick Gage or something like that. I know she had something to do with it. So to say that she doesn't have a mind for the business is not accurate.
I mean, you remember though, you don't have to be winning matches or win all your matches straight away to make some kind of name for yourself, or a reasonable name as well. Have a good storyline and stuff.
That's true. I mean, we're still talking about Santino Marella after all these years, and we're still talking about James Ellsworth, for crying out loud, after all these years.
She's supposed to be doing
there's
this.
There's a space for it, I guess, is what I'm saying. I just don't know. If I were her, would I be happy with that space that I'm occupying?
Have you heard the character she's supposed to be going to from that?
No.
She's supposed to be doing this kind of Karen style character, complaining about everything kind of thing, and they're using that in the story at least kind of thing. It's setting up something going forward.
Okay.
So there's a bit of force in it. What you're
saying is don't overreact to one spot.
Well, yeah, I guess. But at the same time, overreact because it's fun.
We let we let Sammy marinate and look what's happened. You know, let's see what Chelsea Green can do.
I think we should all have a lot more trust in stories like that, though, since Triple H. I definitely have a lot more trust in Triple H and his storytelling and booking than I do with Tony Khan's. Totally.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably going to be examining AEW more closely now that we've got some time. It seems like AEW now is more of the moments company.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas WWE is telling the long, drawn-out, coherent stories.
It's true.
You know, but while we're on the topic of AEW really quick, my goodness, Samoa Joe versus Darby Allin from the other night.
Oh,
ooh, Lordy.
That was great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Just when I think Joe is ready, or is probably about at the point where he should hang it up, he has a match like that.
Yeah.
Because I've thought that before, like the end of his last NXT run, I thought, wow, he looks a lot different and a lot more winded than I ever remember him and stuff like that. But blessed be the power game. It's just, and Darby Allin is
crazy.
I've never seen a wrestler like him.
Little dead boy.
And I can't even draw a parallel with him and Jeff Hardy anymore because Darby Allin is not anywhere near calculated as Jeff Hardy was.
No, more
Jeff Hardy
though.
at least went into these things with a plan to a certain point. Darby Allin just seems like to make it up as he goes along, and I know he's not, but
the bumps, though, probably like the stuff he's willing to do, and it must be because he's like goes into it like because they say that if you get in a car crash or you thrown like into something like with speed or something, the best thing to do is like go limp and just let your kind of body go with it. So whether it's him being so chilled with some of the bumps he's doing, like getting during that Samoa Joe match when he got just chucked over the stairway barrier. Not barrier, sorry, the handrail. Like just that when he got thrown into the concrete steps, that looked so painful. There was loads of bits like.
Probably right. He's probably taught himself, okay, here's the best way to avoid something serious when I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything else that either of you would like to pour on before we ease our way on up out of here? As far as the Rumble goes, or as far as what we have to look forward to, or as far as any other things that we may have overlooked?
Very surprised that they brought back the Iggy award-winning Nia Jax. That was probably the one shocker for me.
Yeah. I saw that happening in all honesty, but I still, when it happened, I was like, oh God, it's like she is dangerous. She is just a dangerous lady. She injured the guys, let alone the women, man.
Yeah, I guess I get why, but at the same time, I would sit her down and have a serious conversation with her about, I know you're a powerhouse. I understand this. We've got to work safer.
Yeah, maybe try not to kill people in the future or something.
And we can make all the jokes we want about everything that's gone down in the past and stuff like that, but it's a business investment, isn't it? It's if I'm going to put you in the ring with somebody like a Dakota Kai or somebody like a Candice LeRae, I got to know that you're going to work safe. And Nia does not have that kind of a reputation.
Here's a question. Nia Jax, Naomi, although probably not Naomi now, because you'd have thought she was going to return to the Rumble, but didn't. So more likely, Nia Jax, Bloodline.
Well, we'll see what happens. I know that Triple H probably pulled her to the side and talked to her about making sure that she was being safe before she got down there. That's why she came in at number 30. And she really didn't, go in it with anybody except for the fact that everyone was throwing her butt out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Actually, Katie, now that you bring up her in the bloodline, that's actually a good place for her
Mm.
because she's already shown that she can get physical with the guys. And anybody now, who knows how much longer the bloodline is going to be for the company, because
Yeah.
I don't know if beyond Mania, like what's going to happen, because I've theorized before Roman has earned himself some time off.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like, if he comes back at SummerSlam or in the fall, what it's going to look like. You know, does everybody just kind of go back off their separate ways again? Do we establish Solo Sikoa as a single star or whatever? And, you know, do we let the Usos go back to just being a tag team and all that?
I reckon it will go like, I could totally see it going forward with just the Usos and Solo Sikoa for a bit.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. And that's one of the things we love doing on this show is reading the tea leaves and saying, okay, now that this has happened, what else is going to happen down the road? And we are so glad that you have joined us on the road to WrestleMania. We are so glad that you have watched us fill in the blank. We hope we did a bang-up job of filling in those blanks. Stay
If you
tuned
want to
next
fill in
week.
your own blanks, go ahead, comment on.
Yes,
your own
leave
blanks.
us a comment. Tweet us at WrestlingXEgos on Twitter. Email the show, wrestlingwithegos@gmail.com. Let us know if we're off base or if we're right on, bang on the bananas, they say.
Yeah, as they all say. They all say that.
I want to thank Patrick for all of his grateful insight and
Yes.
wisdom as to everything that he shared with us this evening.
I was
Patrick
riveted.
will return live and in living color with us next week. He is traveling for work, and that's why he could not join us this evening, but he graciously interspersed his reactions to our fill-in-the-blank questions on his spare time, so we thank him for that. So for everyone
They were
associated...
pre-recorded. I didn't. You could have told me that.
Well, you know.
Oh, I know.
Magic of television, ladies and gentlemen. So for everyone associated with the show, for Patrick, for KD, for Isaac, for all of our loved ones, we want to say thank you for the support, thank you for the views and the downloads, and thank you for your feedback. Join us next week when the Four Horsemen will be back in power. And until we meet again, this has been Wrestling with Egos, and this is why we love pro wrestling.
What I do?